everyone, and welcome back to another crochet tutorial. For today's video, we're going to be making this crochet mesh sweater. But if you haven't seen the first part of this tutorial, which is the front and the back panel, just click on the link that you can see above your screens or just check in the description box below. So again, this is the second part of the tutorial for the mesh top, and today I'm just going to show you the pattern for the sleeves. If you are new to this channel, hi, my name is Kath, and you can follow me on Instagram as well as my Facebook page at What About Yarn. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and that would really mean so much to me. So the first thing you want to do is to make the cuff. And the amount of rows that you will make will depend on the circumference of your wrists. And the stitches are all worked in double crochet back loops. And once you have your cuff, we're going to connect it to the sleeves. Now for the cuff, I'm going to use a smaller hook, which is a size E or a 3.5mm. And then we're going to start a chain of 2 inches. For my cuff, I will be chaining 16 plus 2, so that is 18 chains. And if you prefer it to be wider, please feel free to chain more as well. Once you have the amount of chains that you need, you're going to work a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. After that, you're going to work a double crochet for each of the stitches until you get to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 3. And chain 3 here counts as 1 double crochet or 1 stitch. Turn your work, and then on the 2nd stitch, we're going to work a double crochet, but then this time we will work it on the back loop. And the back loop is that little hoop behind the stitch. As you can see here, this is the front and this is the back part. Like so. After that, we will continue working a double crochet in the back loops until we get to the end of the row. So meet me back later when you get there. Now on the very last stitch, we're going to work a double crochet into the 3rd chain of the turning chains. Because obviously we cannot work a double crochet back loops for this stitch. Now after this, you're just going to repeat exactly the same thing as what you did. So double crochet into the next stitch, and then double crochet back loops, chain 3 double crochet back loops, and you're going to repeat that until your cuff is long enough to wrap around your wrists like so. Now do that and meet me back later when you're done. So here I have my cuff, and I have about 16 rows of the stitches. Now what we're going to do now is to connect both ends using a slip stitch. So let's just bring this loop over because I am crocheting on the right side. I am right-handed, obviously. So let's bring that loop up. And then we're going to slip stitch into both of the ends together. So just continue working a slip stitch until both of your ends are secured, and then you're going to fasten off and cut the yarn. Moving on to the sleeves or the armhole part, we're going to take our bigger hook, which is the size G or the 4mm, And then we're going to attach the yarn into the part where we stitched both of our panels together. So we're going to chain 3, and this chain 3 is going to count as 1 double crochet or 1 stitch. Now in each of the row across the armhole, we're going to work 2 double crochet. That is 1, and that is 2. Now on the next row, instead of working 2 double crochet, you're going to work 1 double crochet into this part right here, and then another double crochet into the row. So now you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. At the end of this round, we're going to work a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning chains. Now for the next round, we're going to work again another round of double crochet. So chain 3 and turn your work. And on the next stitch, we're going to work again a double crochet and on each of the stitches as well. End of the row, we're going to slip stitch again into the 3rd chain of the beginning chains. And on the next row, we will start our row of mesh. So to do that, we're going to chain 3. And we're going to turn our work. Now we will begin this row with a double crochet. So double crochet into the next stitch. After that, we're going to chain 1. And then we will skip the next stitch. And on the next stitch, we will work a double crochet. Repeat that again, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and double crochet into the next stitch. Now you're going to repeat that same pattern all the way around. So here at the very end, I ended with a chain of 1. And then we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning chains. Now after this, we're going to turn our work later. And since our next stitch is a chain 1 gap, instead of chaining 3, we're going to chain 4. 3 and 4. We're going to turn our work. And then we will skip the next stitch and we will work a double crochet into the next stitch. So we will again repeat the pattern for the mesh. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space and double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So you're just going to repeat that all the way around. So at the end of the row, you will see here that we have the double crochet stitch that we did earlier. We're going to work our last stitch there. And instead of chaining 1, we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning chains. Now for the next row, where we will turn our work. So for the next row, we have here a double crochet stitch, right? So what we're going to do Instead of chaining 4 like what we did in the previous row, we're going to chain 3, turn our work, and then we will work a double crochet into the double crochet stitch. And then again, we will repeat the mesh pattern, which is a chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space or the next stitch, and then double crochet. So this will be the pattern again that you will repeat for the rest of the row. And once you get there, you're going to repeat again the same pattern as what you did in the previous row, where you will start a chain of 4. And then on the next row again, you will start a chain of 3. Now, the only thing to remember is if you turn your work and the next stitch is a chain 1 space, then you're going to start your beginning chains with a chain 4. And if your next stitch for the next row is a double crochet, then you will start your beginning chains with a chain of 3. And you're going to keep on repeating that until your sleeve is long enough for your size. So do that and meet me back later for the last part. So here I have the length that I need for my sleeves. Now we're going to take our cuff, and the seam of the cuff needs to face upwards. And we're going to insert that into the sleeves. Now, to be able to join both of the pieces together, you're going to determine which part you're going to do the cinch. So I could do a single crochet or a slip stitch all the way around this part, but for this video, I'm going to use a yarn needle to connect this all the way around. So take your yarn needle and then let's start sewing these pieces together. So fasten off and cut the yarn. And then we're going to turn our cuff inside out. Now all that's left to do now is to weave in your ends, and that's it. You have your mesh sweater. So friends, that marks the end of this tutorial. I hope that you will enjoy making this project, and if you do, please don't forget to tag me on social media at whataboutYarn. I would really love to see what you make of this one. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them below in the comment box and I will do my best to answer them. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell as well. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.